So we begin with silence. We will be discussing about um, the Vedic vision of life. ठीक है, जीवन को लेके हमारे वैदिक ऋषियों का क्या विचार था, ठीक है ना। जीवन है क्या चीज़, कैसे जीना है, क्या करना है, तो Vedic vision of life. And then whether that framework which they have given or that understanding that we get, whether that has anything to do with our life now, whether that can help us, is it relevant? So वो हम देखेंगे इस सेशन में। उसको जानने से पहले वेद का एक समरी, निष्कर्ष हमको जानना पड़ेगा। एंड ये समरी जो है, ये समरी मैंने श्री अरविंद से समझा। उनके एक पुस्तक है सीक्रेट ऑफ द वेद, वेद रहस्य। इन दैट बुक he summarizes the entire Vedic realization. Again, as I told, gave you the 4 stages of progress, the 4 stages of attaining mastery, right? So here are 4 realizations of the Vedic rishis. ये 4 realizations को हम जान लेंगे तो हम वेद का जो कोर क्या है, क्या कहना चाहता है वेद, हम क्यों वेद पढ़ें, उसका रिलेवेंस क्या है, ये सब हम जान पाएंगे तभी इसके माध्यम से। सो ये समरी ऑफ द वेद जो है उसको पहले हम जानेंगे, फिर उसके बाद मैं जीवन दर्शन जो है वेद का उसके बारे में बताऊंगा। 4 realizations, please note it down, the 4 realizations of the Vedic rishis. And through that we will understand the Vedic vision of life. Okay? The first realization of the rishis, by the power of their tapas, whatever was happening in them, because the rishis, when they were contemplating, they were meditating, they were in a higher state of consciousness, something happened to them, in them, which transformed their consciousness, certain realizations, बहुत सारी उपलब्धियां उनका हुई। So the first उपलब्धि जो है उनको ये समझ में आया, the first realization is that the world in which we live, the present state of our consciousness, the truth that we experience in this world, कुछ चीज़ों को है कि हम मानते हैं कि ये सत्य है, ये धर्म है, यही प्रकाश है, यही सब कुछ है, ये हायर है, ये सब जो मानते हैं हम, so they could realize that there is a greater world than the world in which we live. It can be the inner, it can be outer, it can be higher, okay? But there is a greater world than the world in which we live. There is a greater truth than the truth that we have the knowledge of. There is a greater truth. जिस सत्य को हम सत्य मानते हैं वही सत्य सब कुछ नहीं है, इस सत्य से बढ़कर एक बृहत्तर सत्य है। जिस प्रकाश को हम यहाँ देख रहे हैं, जिस प्रकाश से सब कुछ उद्भासित है, उस प्रकाश से बढ़कर एक बृहत्तर प्रकाश है। There is a greater light, greater world of light, truth and आनंद। जो आनंद का अनुभव हम यहाँ कर रहे हैं उससे बढ़कर एक बृहत्तर आनंद है, जिस आनंद को हमें पाना है, पर है। दिस वॉज द फर्स्ट रियलाइजेशन कि देयर इज अ ग्रेटर वर्ल्ड ऑफ लाइट, ट्रूथ एंड ब्लिस। दैट वॉज द फर्स्ट रियलाइजेशन। The second realization, it happened. And just remember, like it is a realization which not just happened sometimes, and then that realization is not happening. It's a day-to-day experience for each one of us, aspiring to grow, aspiring to make progress. The moment you take a sankalpa and become conscious of growing, the same realizations happen to us also. कुछ तो होगा, कुछ तो higher होगा. This is not enough. क्योंकि वो लिमिटेशन से बाहर आने के लिए हम मजबूर हो जाते हैं. मतलब हम we become forced to come out of that limitation because there is something higher. That realization keeps happening. It's a continuous process. Okay. First. Second is, man must make effort. Each one of us, we must make effort to ascend to that higher world of light, truth, and bliss. Without that effort, nothing is going to happen on its own. Okay. So, and the same thing like we had discussed about the progress, and then what will be the human effort, how much will be the divine intervention, whether that is needed or not. Most of the things we have discussed. But here the emphasis is on that there a realization dawned upon the rishis that man must make sincere efforts to ascend to the higher worlds of light, truth, and bliss, and follow the path of what Sri Aurobindo has again made it simple and given us a framework. What is the way out? Rejection, aspiration, rejection, and surrender. Through that, we can make our effort. So what is that effort? Like the question will come, what is that effort that we will make? The first effort will be aspiration. We must aspire to ascend to that higher world of life. That aspiration has to be there. You understand what is meant by aspiration? What is meant by aspiration?
So, aspiration means a call from within?
Yes, exactly. So, an aspiration is a call from within. It's not your desire. Okay. So, you are not desiring to have something. Where desire comes from the senses. Like your eyes want to see something, ears want to hear something, the tongue wants to taste something, the skin wants to feel something, okay? The nose wants to smell something. So your senses, so therefore, like it puts you in constant desire and it never gets satisfied. So aspiration is not coming from the senses. Aspiration comes from the depth of your own being. Your soul aspires. Your inmost being aspires. Your senses, your sense mind desires. Your desire-driven ego, your projected self desires. But in the soul, there is the aspiration of realizing the higher, ascending to. How that, so what is that effort then once that call comes? For example, that is why I asked you right in the beginning, what inspired you to come here to participate in this spiritual retreat? Summer vacation है, कहीं भी जा सकते हो, एकदम enjoy कर सकते हो. But why did you decide to come this? Because there is some inner call कि नहीं यहाँ पे मुझे लगता है कि मुझे रहना चाहिए. There's something which is pulling you, has got you here. You can consider at present that is your inner call, that is your aspiration. Without that aspiration, you will not be here, not anywhere in such occasions, because it's a call from within, right? So that aspiration, if it is not there also, like some people say, नहीं मेरा तो कोई aspiration है नहीं, मेरा तो कोई inner call नहीं है, बस ठीक है मैंने decide कर लिया यहाँ आऊँगा, मुझे अच्छा लगता है कि मुझे समझ में नहीं आता है कि ये इनर कॉल है या नहीं है. कुछ लोगों का इनर कॉल क्या है वो समझ में नहीं आ सकता है, पर वो आएगा. Sometimes even though mentally we decide something, that effort itself, if there is sincerity, it can put us in touch with our inmost being. It can connect. That environment can help, that climate can help. There are various ways of learning. Sometimes you may get influenced by the words of the teachers, by the words of your peers, or by the words of your parents, or by some things. If there is sincerity, that you want to know, you want to grow, then something will intervene and then create that possibility. But first thing necessary is aspiration. Aspire. Second thing Sri Aurobindo says, because we are talking about the effort. What is that effort that we will do? Right? So the second is, first thing is to aspire. To aspire for ascending to. Outgrow our limitations, shortcomings, weaknesses. To be conscious of that. And then seek for the blessings of the higher grace, supreme grace. Right? Seek for that higher light, truth, bliss. This is aspiration. Then mere aspiration also is not going to help. Sri Aurobindo says rejection. Because the negative forces, the asuric forces are also part of our consciousness. They will constantly keep disturbing us. A very simple example you take. Tomorrow morning, when you get up, you take this decision, today I will not get angry whole day. The moment you take this decision, you will see there will be 100 occasions for you to get angry. More occasions. Then you will say, पता नहीं आज ही संकल्प लिया, आज ही यही सब होने वाला था. कल तो कुछ नहीं हुआ. इतने दिनों से नहीं हो रहा था. पर आज ही सब हो रहा था. ये प्रॉब्लम आ जाने वाला था, ये प्रॉब्लम आ जाने वाला था. The moment you decide, all the problems will happen on that day. That's how the negative forces, because the undivine forces, they do not want you to come in contact with the divinity within you. Okay? So that is where what needs to be done? Rejection. Rejection of what? ये वर्ल्ड को रिजेक्ट कर दो, खुद को रिजेक्ट कर दो, माँ बाप को रिजेक्ट कर दो, सब कुछ रिजेक्ट कर दो. नहीं, रिजेक्शन मीन्स दैट become conscious of what are the elements, what are the forces, movements which are creating obstacles on my path, are disturbing me, not allowing me to grow, not allowing me to come in contact with my own divinity. Knock it down forcefully कि मुझे नहीं चाहिए. थू कर दो. Literally, even the mother has said that you spit on the, like if something is disturbing you so terribly, just spit on it. Thu, I don't want. Yeah, it's a very powerful tool. If you can do it, they will get removed.
So Aurobindo says kick them.
Kick them. Kick them. So you have to strongly reject all that does not allow you to come in contact with the divinity, with yourself. ये rejection हुआ. But this aspiration and rejection both, it is a constant process. It's a constant process. It's not that सुबह aspire कर लिया 1 घंटा, फिर 2 घंटा में reject करते रहा, फिर मैं अपने काम में लग गया, फिर अब कुछ होगा तो शाम को aspire कर लूँगा. It doesn't happen that way. It's a constant process. You have to always keep in your mind that my purpose is to ascend. You have to always vigilant that what are the forces, what is happening inside you. What is the source of these movements? क्यों आता है? क्रोध आता है तो क्यों आता है? इरिटेशन होता है तो क्यों होता है? जेलसी है तो क्यों है? एक प्रकार के विचार आता है या इमोशन डिस्टर्ब करता है तो क्यों करता है? कहां से आता है? कारण क्या है? और कारण को जब ढूंढोगे तो पाओगे अरे आई एम सो मीन, ये छोटी मोटी चीजों के लिए मैं ऐसे करता हूं. जब ये भाव आ जाता है, मानना कि थोड़ा सा ग्रोथ हुआ है. जब अपने ऊपर हंसी आएगा ना, तब मानना कि ग्रोथ हुआ है, नहीं तो नहीं लगेगा ये भाव। ग्रोथ नहीं हुआ है तो नहीं लगेगा ये। और लगे अरे मैं ये क्या कर रहा हूं, इतनी छोटी सी बात तो है, मुझे क्यों बोलना था। और बहुत से समय होता है ऐसे, हम गुस्से में आ जाते हैं, कुछ बोल देते हैं, फिर लगता है अरे क्या जरूरत था बोलने के लिए। ये कॉन्शियस तो है हमारे भीतर, पर अचानक हम ट्रैप्ड हो जाते हैं, ये नेगेटिव पणी, दस्यु, वृत्र ट्रैप कर लेते हैं इमीडिएटली। ठीक है, तो एस्पिरेशन, रिजेक्शन और ये सब हम सही तरीके से तब कर सकते हैं जब तक हम डिवाइन के कांटेक्ट में रहने के लिए खुद को सबमिट करते रहेंगे कॉन्स्टेंटली। सबमिशन, दैट प्लास्टिसिटी, सरेंडर। Without surrender, nothing will happen. Surrender is the process by which we constantly make that effort of keeping ourselves in contact with ourselves, the divinity within. वो surrender का भी बहुत रूप है। So how do I do surrender? What is the way? है ना प्रश्न, आप तो बोलते हो surrender surrender, but what is surrender? गिर पड़ूं उनके चरणों में या कैसे करूं सरेंडर? Practically, what does it mean to surrender?
So as per me, sir, to surrender means to offer thyself, to offer myself ki I'm not able to do this. Please give me, please guide me, or please manifest yourself through me such that I go back and I follow back to the right path again.
Okay, very good. There is a constant sense of offering yourself to something higher. Okay, the higher principle, the supreme grace, the divinity, the divine, that I offer myself. But surrender has a very different meaning. The mother explains it very beautifully. He makes it practical. She says also like surrender also has stages. Okay. पहला स्टेज जो है सरेंडर का, what is called surrender, she says, surrender means, surrender is a sankalpa, a will to hand over our responsibilities to the divine. A strong will to hand over our responsibilities to the divine. क्योंकि मेरा जीवन का जो कुछ भी है, मैं खा रहा हूं, पी रहा हूं, जो कुछ भी हो रहा है मेरे जीवन में, all responsibilities I hand over to you. You take care of myself. जब ये संकल्प जो है, इसी संकल्प को सरेंडर कहते हैं. The mother has explained the surrender means a strong will to hand over our responsibilities entirely to the divine. ठीक है, फर्स्ट स्टेज. Then second stage is self-giving. Surrender and self-giving. वो self-giving कैसे होगा? जो ऑफरिंग हम कहते हैं कि he said like I need to offer myself. Self-giving. The mother explains it in a very practical, very simple language that once you have taken that sankalpa, then organize your life's activities around that. Remember, be conscious of your sankalpa that you have handed over your responsibilities to the divine. Keeping that in mind, that in the consciousness, you organize your life's activities around that in such a manner that, like everything gets aligned with that sankalpa. That now I am not responsible for my life. It is the divine who is responsible for my life. So I will always cling to the divinity. I will not allow any other force to interfere in my work consciously. And that is again is the meaning of sincerity. Sincerity doesn't mean that, oh, I am very punctual, I come, whatever is said, I am doing it. Which is, oh, he is a very sincere guy. क्यों ये वो सुनता है? See, obedience, punctuality, regularity, all these things are good, but they are not sincerity. Sincerity has a very different meaning. Right? So, in self giving, that sincerity is central. What does it mean? Sincerity means to always keep oneself under the divine influence and not allow any other undivine influence to take care of our lives, activities, and movements. The only definition that you allow only the divine influence to take care of that. Then you know that you are sincere. There again, you have to be sincere at the physical level, sincere at the vital level, sincere at the mental psychological level, sincere at the higher level. Not at the just at the mental. When we say like be truthful, cling to truth, what does it mean? Most people think that satya bolne se bas I am truthful. No. The physical also has a truth of its own. Have you realized the truth of your physical being? And you have to true to your own physical being. To be true to your own physical being is to understand the core consciousness of the physical being. To allow the divine to manifest through the physical. How does the divine manifest in the physical? In what form? The mother says, the divine manifests in the physical in the form of beauty, rhythm, suppleness, strength. You have to have strength. Your body has to be vajramaya, very strong, at the same time very supple. It has that capacity. See so many yogis, so many circus people, what they do with their body. You say, my God, ये body को ऐसे कर सकते हैं, किसी भी प्रकार का आसन बोलो सब कर लेंगे. ये body है, कोई एक कर पाता है तो हम सब कर पाएंगे. It is the same constitution. ठीक है? Same materials are used, but we are not making effort. We can't do that. But there also, like a circus man will not be called a yogi. However great skill he may be having, however twist he can give to the body, no, he is not a divine person, not a yogi. Yogi has a greater, he allows only the divine influence. So, consciously manifesting suppleness, rhythm, strength, and beauty, harmony in the movement, then you are true to your physical being. Are you true to your vital being? So cling to truth is not just a mental exercise that I speak to truth. No. At each level we have to be in touch with the truth of the thing. So am I true to my vital being, my emotional, sensational being? Do I have purified emotions? Do I have that pure dynamism where I become charged to become dynamic in this world in a divine sense? Then I am true to my own vital being. So vital has two levels. There is a lower vital, there is a higher vital. Okay. The lower vital is connected with all kinds of negative things. Kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. All kinds of negative asuric things, our lower vital. And that is the animal instinct, impulses, they emerge from the lower vital. And most of us, to a great, great extent, we are connected with the lower vital than higher vital. Higher vital is the source of the true energy, true samarthya, true dynamism. So we have to make ourselves free from the lower vital and then become connected with the higher vital. Then we are true to our own vital being. So to be truthful means to be true at the physical level, to be true to one's own physical being, to be true to one's own vital being, then to be true to one's own mental being, mental psychological being. तो mental psychological being में हम क्या करते हैं? मन अपनी तरफ से सोचता है. Mind also get connected with our physical being, vital being, and then starts interpreting things. मन का जो purity है उसको हम experience नहीं कर पाते हैं. Then to be truthful also means like I have to be true to my mental consciousness. वो क्या है? मन में डीप कंसंट्रेशन होना चाहिए. जो जैसे मैंने बोला, पावर ऑफ रिसेप्टिविटी, पावर ऑफ ऑब्जर्वेशन, पावर ऑफ थॉट, पावर ऑफ इमेजिनेशन, पावर ऑफ क्रिएटिविटी, कंसंट्रेशन, मेमोरी, रिटेंशन, रिसेप्टिविटी, anything connected with mind should be at the highest level, at a perfect level, at a pure level. Then I am true to my own mental psychological being, right? Am I true to my inner self? That also matters. Like there is a divinity within me, my inmost being. Am I referring everything that I do to my inmost being? Am I in thoughts with my inmost being? Am I constantly thinking about the divine? कृष्ण ने अर्जुन को बोला कि युद्ध करते हो ठीक है, लेकिन while in being in the battlefield, you have to constantly remember me. तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु माम अनुस्मर युध्य च. Remember me always. There should not be a single moment when you have forgotten me while being in the battlefield. That satata smarana shilata, constant remembrance of the divine, is what is necessary. When that happens, then we are true to ourselves, and that is what is meant by self-giving. You are constantly remembering and connecting every aspect of your being with that divine. That is self-giving. And then there is a third stage where surrender and self-giving culminates. So that is the state of consecration. Consecration means then your life becomes completely consecrated to do the divine work. It becomes everything that you do, so it becomes a natural part of yours that you can't do anything which is undivine. Everything that you do, it is leading towards a greater, achievement, which will help the world, help oneself, help the world. So when you say aspiration, rejection, and surrender, so surrender must lead to, attain to that state of being consecrated fully. Okay? So this is the effort that we need to do. This is the second realization in the Vedic framework. What is the third realization? So the first realization was that there is a higher world of light, truth, and bliss. The second realization is that man must make sincere effort to ascend to that. Yes. The third realization is that there are two forces which are always in the battlefield. Life is a battlefield, and in that battlefield there is a constant battle which is going on. The battle between whom? The battle between the forces of light and the forces of darkness. The battle between devas and asuras. The battle between the positive forces and the negative forces. It is a constant battle which is going on. Then what do we have to do? So in our effort, we must fight against the undivine forces, and we must emerge victorious. But in order to become victorious, what is the way? How to fight against the undivine forces? How do we have victory over them? What is the way out? What is the way out? How do we fight against our undivine forces? So then the Vedic realization, the realization of the Rishi is that if you aspire to have victory over the undivine forces, okay, then you must keep the divine as your constant comrade, constant friend, like Arjuna had Krishna with him constantly as his friend. So you must always keep the divine with you. That alone can give you the strength to have victory over the undivine forces. This is the third realization. Okay. So there's one interesting story which was popular on internet long back. So there was a small boy who was playing with his grandfather. So this boy was playing with his grandfather, always happy. His grandfather was always happy. Now suddenly one day that the boy found that his grandfather is looking gloomy, no interest, looking dark, lazy type. So he's just sitting, no interest in playing. So he asked Grandpa, why are you looking so gloomy today? You are always energetic. You are always so fresh. But why are you looking so gloomy today? What happened to you? Then the grandfather said, you know, there is a battle going on inside me today. Fierce battle which is happening. A battle? Battle between whom? He was a small child. He was not interested to know anything. He asked, like, with whom? He said, the battle between light and darkness, positive and negative. Again the child is confused. What is this positive and negative? What is light and darkness? What is Deva and Asura? And then why this battle is going on? Because he's a small child. So the child then got very excited. He said, Grandpa, tell me, whose is the victory? Who is winning the game, right? So that's the usual excitement. Like, whose is the victory? Whose is the victory, Grandpa? Then the grandpa made a very simple response. He said that to whichever force I give myself, for me, the victory is of that force. If I stand with the negative forces, so for me, it is the victory of negative forces. If I stand with the positive forces, for me, the victory is of positive forces. But it's up to me, right? So if we see ourselves, we can always see that we live in a divided consciousness. Always we are fragmented, divided, split, always confusion. Always we are in a state we are unable to decide. मन करता है कि स्पिरिचुअल रिट्रीट में जाऊं, पर सारे कजिन्स मेरे जा रहे हैं, मनाली कुल्लू, अनेबल टू डिसाइड. मन है कि ये करूं, तो मन जो है ना, ये 1000-fold फ्रैगमेंटेड हो जाता है. This is called division. And that as long as you are living in the divided consciousness, you are allowing the undivine forces to play more and more with you. Okay. So where we need to live? We have to live in a state of oneness, equanimity, ekatva and samatva. Okay, oneness and equanimity. Not allowing any kind of division or fragmentation within the consciousness. This is the third realization, that the battle you cannot avoid. See how many efforts are going on to avoid war. Is the world free from war and battle? No. Constantly happening. It's not that Mahabharata war happened, dharma is established, matter is over. Did it happen? After Mahabharata war, so many wars. You cannot avoid war and battle because it's a part of the creation, part of our evolutionary journey. It shows where we stand, which aspect of the consciousness we are with, divine or undivine. The world cannot get rid of war. It is bound to happen. But we have to find a way, how do we get victory over these undivine forces? The more we increase our awareness and then we focused on the divine, we gain more strength to fight against the undivine forces. No means of falsehood, wrong means, can help us getting victory over them. Only the divine has the power. But it doesn't mean that allowing the divine means just to sit in quietude, peaceful state, and then pray that let war not happen. That's not going to help. ये अगर होता तो अर्जुन को उसी दिन कृष्ण बोल देते कि भाई चलो सब पैक करो, यहाँ से हिमालय चलते, किसी गुफा में बैठ के हम ध्यान में बैठ जाते हैं, युद्ध क्षेत्र से भागो, तुम ठीक बोल रहे हो. बोला था क्या ये? नहीं बोला था ना. क्या बोला? ये क्या बचपना है, उठो युद्ध करो. बचपना बोला ना उनको कि ये सब बचपना है, नपुंसक है. ऐसे नहीं बोलते हैं लोग. हीरो लोग ऐसे नहीं बोलते हैं. उठो, खड़े हो जाओ, युद्ध करो, शत्रुनाशी बनो, शत्रु तुम्हारे नाम से डरे, ऐसे परंतप बनो. तुम हो ऐसे, भूल गए हो. उसको उसके आइडेंटिटी दे दिया कृष्ण ने, उसके साथ परिचय करा दिया. और एक बार भगवान जो डिविनिटी है वो हमको हमसे परिचय करा देते हैं, देयर इज नो पावर विच कैन इंटरवीन. ठीक है. तो ये है थर्ड रियलाइजेशन. वो थर्ड रियलाइजेशन में जब हम यूनिटी और इक्वानिमिटी की बात करते हैं, एकत्व और समत्व की बात करते हैं, उसमें, और वो स्टेट को ऋषि लोगों ने उपलब्ध किया, रियलाइज किया. ठीक है. तो उसमें वो एकत्व और समत्व को पाने के लिए उन्होंने देखा, जब एकत्व और समत्व में आया तो लिखा कि द हाईएस्ट रियलाइजेशन इन द वेद इज दैट ट्रूथ, देयर इज अ सिंगल ट्रूथ which is the supreme truth. But that supreme truth, that single truth is not all about the truth of the world or the creation, all about the truth of the divine. If it is single, if it is alone, if it is kevala, then this whole world would not have been there. That is why, what was the realization? That even though the truth is one, alone, kevala, it doesn't remain in its singularity. It's constantly manifesting in different forms, infinite forms. So, ekam sat vipra bahudha vadanti. क्या है? एकम सत, repeat, एकम सत विप्रा बहुधा vadanti. All those who are Vipras are those who have realized that. They confirm it to us that that single truth constantly manifests in different forms. So what is the message here? ठीक है, एक truth है, it manifests in different form. Well, what is it up to me? Why is this realization so important? This realization is significant because it gives me, you, the whole world, this message that you must see the presence of that supreme truth in everything and being and happening. If you don't see that truth, the presence of that supreme grace, that supreme divinity in everything and being, then you are not really in a state of ekatva and samatva, which is the highest realization. We are, every one of us in life, the highest goal, the ultimate goal of progress, to realize the divine and perfection, means to be in a state of ekatva and samatva, where we see that one truth present in everything and being. Not, then what happens? That equanimity, then we start treating every situation, every individual, every situation, every happening with that state of equanimity, being in a state of poise. So these are the 4 stages of realizations of the Vedic rishis, we have to always keep in mind while dealing with the Veda. This will help us understand the Upanishads. This will help us understand the Gita. This will help us understanding the rest of the texts that has created this foundation of our civilization. Okay? These are the 4 realizations. Let's repeat the realization. The first realization was there is a higher world of light, truth and bliss. Second realization, third realization, constant battle happening, and to get victory over the undivine forces, what we need to do? Man must keep the divine as his comrade constantly. Okay? Ye mat bhulna. Okay? You underline this aspect, right? And what was the fourth realization? Even the truth is one, it manifests in infinite forms, and our purpose is to see that truth present in everything, being and happening. Right? So this was the vision of our rishis, the realization of our rishis with regard to what we need to do in our life. Okay, there are so many other things, but this is in summary. Okay.